is just coming back. So my voice is just coming back. So I can't really like talk loud. So I need you guys to focus. If you have questions, please raise your hand. I want to go try to go through two topics today because I wasn't able to teach yesterday, right? So, and I want you guys to practice because on Friday, you guys are going to test on the module 7 test. Um, I'm recording this for the other periods so they can watch it. So if you have a question, ask because most likely someone else has the same question or someone in another period will have that question. You understand? I want you to ask questions. Okay. So I'm gonna go over real quick this because even though you went over it, I just want to really quick scan over it and then after that we're gonna go over inequalities and triangles and then midsegments. Right? For those of you coming in, please take your packets out. All right. So number 6, what is the biggest side of the triangle? TR, right? Yes. I want to go over real quick. So what angle is the biggest angle? Angle S is the biggest angle because it's opposite the biggest side. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What's the next biggest side? TS. That means which angle is the biggest angle? R. And then last, the smallest side is RS, which means what's the smallest angle? T. It's opposite the smallest side. Any questions? And we can go backwards. So what's the smallest angle in number 7? Wait, that's a T here? So T is the smallest angle. So what's the smallest side? SR is the smallest side because it's opposite the smallest angle. Any questions? Are we good? The next smallest angle is R, which is 60. So what's the next smallest side? ST. And then the biggest angle is S, so the biggest side is good. All right. Did you guys go over this? No, right? All right. So what you have to understand is just how we just went over the biggest angle will always be opposite the biggest side. If this side is the same measure as this side, and AB is the same measure as ED, but the included angle, the angle that's in between them, is different on both triangles, it'll affect the opposite side. So if angle D is bigger, that means FE will be bigger than CD. Make sense? Because it opens wide, right? And that's what we're going to be kind of going over. So here, if you notice, MN is the same as PN, right? And RN is the same in both triangles. So we have those two situations where the two sides are the same, but the included angle is different. So what side is going to be the biggest side? What side's going to be bigger? MR or RP? MR is going to be bigger because 21 is bigger than 19. So, all right, any questions? Can you guys do 10 and or can you guys do number 10? I, I didn't write the answer, but the answer would be MR is greater than PR. All right, so I want you guys to try. All right, someone raise your hand. Nope, push period. Nope, I'm doing it. So, someone raise their hand. Go for it. AD is greater than CD. Because why? Yeah, because 38 is bigger than 22. Understand? Any questions? You sure? No one has questions. Okay. Number 13. Now we're going backwards. We're going to go based off the sides, and we're going to discuss which angle is bigger. So here we have that dx is the same as bx, and then we have ax is the same in both triangles, right? But 6 is smaller than 8, right? And dxa is, we'll do the green, and angle bxa is in blue. So what angle is larger? Now we know AD is bigger than AB because 8 is bigger than 6, but we're comparing this angle, and we're comparing this angle. DXA to BXA. What angle is larger? Awesome. What angle is larger? Raise your hand. Come on, someone else. Raise your hand. What angle is larger? Yeah, DXA. Because 8 is larger than 6, that means that angle is larger. So we'd say DXA is larger than angle BXA. And you gotta write the angle symbol. Any questions? All right, I'm gonna do, no, there's only 2 left. I'm not gonna do any more. You guys can do those last 2. All right, now we're gonna talk about mid segments All right. For time purposes, I'm not going to go over this review. I'm not going to go over that just because of time. All right. Everyone ready? So a mid segment, for instance, AB is a mid segment because it goes from one midpoint to another midpoint of a triangle, right? A is the middle of XY and B is the middle of XZ. So because the segment goes from midpoint to midpoint, we call it a mid segment. And mid segments have a special property. They're going to be half the measure of the side that it's parallel to. So AB is parallel to YZ. You understand? So that means that if YZ measures 50, what does AB measure? 25. Any questions? If BC, let's say BC measures 15, what other side do I know? How does that help me figure out? What side does it help me figure out? No, it doesn't help me figure out C because AC is not parallel to BC. What side is parallel to BC? XY. So what would be the measure of XY? 30. We understand. And then we have one more. AC is parallel to what? To XC. So if XC is 60, what's AC? 30. Any questions so far? Now, also, if AB is 25, what would be the measure of CZ? No, it'd be 25 because the whole thing is 50, right? And C is the middle. So that means each part, like YC, will be 25 as well. And XB, what would be XB? 30. And what would be BZ? 30. And what would be AY? 15. And AX? 15. You understand the relationship with mid-segments? And the So here, we'd say, from this we conclude the mid-segment is half the length of the parallel side. Good question. Okay. So now we're gonna go, I'll do a couple of these with you guys. What is the measure of X? Yeah, X would be 50. You understand why? Anyone not understanding? Please, if you have questions, this is the time to ask. No? All right. One thing I didn't go over is the angles. So I want to go over all right, you guys have okay. Before I go over that, I want to go over parallelograms. So if I have a parallelogram, I don't know if you guys remember this from middle school. Um, does anyone know if about opposite angles in parallelograms? So like if this angle is 40 degrees, this angle over here will be 40 degrees as well, because the opposite angles in parallelograms are congruent. Any questions about that? Also, consecutive angles are supplementary. So this angle would be 140, because what's 140 plus 40? 180. And if that's 140, what's the angle up here? 140. Okay. You guys go over that in middle school? Yeah? All right. The other thing is that if we have a diagonal that, let me take this distance out. So let's say I have a diagonal. Let's say this angle was 75. Do you guys remember parallel lines cut by transversal? So what kind of angle is this angle and this angle? Can you remember? Huh? No, it's not 90. It's 75 degrees, right? Well, what kind of angles are they? They're acute, but they're alternate interior angles, right? So it means that alternate interior angles are the same. So if this one's 75, this one is also 75 degrees. Understand? And if that one's 75, let's say this one is 65, that means this one over here will be 65 degrees because they're alternate interior angles. Now, you might ask, how does that play into here? It plays because what shape is this? What shape is that? Parallelogram, right? And if they give you an angle, you can use these properties that we have here to figure out the missing angle. I'm going to do one in your example. Here, number 6, what's the measure of 57? I mean of x, sorry. It'd be 57, because those are alternate interior angles. So x would equal 57 degrees. You have to see that it's a parallelogram and that those two angles are alternate interior angles. You understand? Can anyone figure out what this missing angle is here? In between 44 and 76. Anyone can tell me how we could figure that out? Mm, so if I were to add all three of these angles together, what would they equal? 180, because they're all on a straight line, right? So if the other two are 44 and 76, how could I figure out what that missing angle is? Before I go there, the reason I'm trying to find that missing angle is because that missing angle will be the same measure as what? As x, because they're alternate interior, right? So if I can figure out what that angle is, I know what x is. Right? So all I have to do is do 180 minus whatever 44 plus 76 is. And that will give me what x is. You understand? All right. I think that's enough for today. Yeah, it's enough for today. So I'm done recording.